a requirement for protective clothing became very important. So this severe cold, so as a protection, as a physiological need, clothing developed. Also, because the early forms of Homo sapiens were hunters and gatherers, so a lot of clothing was form of bark, yeah, animal hide, animal के leather hide से या fur या vegetation जो bark से leaf से या grass से बनते थे, ये सारी चीज़ों से जनरली हमारा पुराने टाइप के क्लोथिंग्स का ओरिजिन रहा रह चुका है. अगर हम माइलस्टोन्स देखें, the first thing that has happened over time is the origin of a fiber and a thread. ठीक है, फाइबर जो हमारे सबसे पुराने टाइप के क्लोथिंग जो मिला है हमें, these are basically ट्री barks. ट्री barks मतलब क्या है, पेड़ के जो बाहर के जो छाले होते हैं, tree barks are the the earliest form of clothing that is there. And uh, this was generally beaded and matted and made soft and wrapped around the body. Now, one of the things also happened with time is that uh, just not the tree barks, हम फ्लैक्स को धीरे धीरे फाइबर फॉर्म में यूज़ किए हैं, इसको ट्विस्ट किए हैं ताकि वो फाइबर एक धागे जैसे बने. uh, जो हमारे few of the older forms of garment making has also been thread. ठीक है, थ्रेड में हम थ्रेड को हम जैसे हम निटिंग करते हैं तो एक एक निडल से निटिंग करके तो गारमेंट बनाया जाना. ठीक है, sewing initially again as the the oldest form has been hunters and gatherers. Hence, one of the very important uh, thing that has happened, that human bones again, animal bones say people have started making needles. So earliest needles were either made out of ivory or bones with just an eye at the back. From that, spinning and weaving started. That was of course much later, जहाँ पे yarns was uh, woven together to create a fabric. Uh, vegetable bast fiber यूज़ हुआ है, सिल्क यूज़ हुआ है, and this can date anything between to 6500 BC. Uh, earliest form of silk, it is said to be found in China from about 2500 BC. Uh, the proper silk production again comes from China from around 5000 BC. Uh, apart now from there comes the part of sewing machines. Sewing machines originally was it invented in 1790, and it is धीरे धीरे it got developed, and by 1850 first patented sewing machine was formed, which again gave rise to power looms. Power looms again, it is possibly industrial revolution ka, European industrial revolution ka, one of the biggest thing that has happened is the advent of power looms. Coming to certain theories of clothing, of the origins of clothing, कि clothing originate हुआ ही क्यों. Now if you look at it, there are four, मोटे मोटे से हम अगर देखें तो there are four theories. ठीक है, इसको हम क्या क्या बोलते हैं, मोडेस्टी थ्योरी, इमोडेस्टी थ्योरी, अडॉर्नमेंट थ्योरी और प्रोटेक्शन थ्योरी बोलते हैं. ठीक है, करके समझते हैं चीज़ों को. द नेम एक्सप्लेन्स अ लॉट. मोडेस्टी थ्योरी क्या है, मोडेस्टी थ्योरी essentially means that how to behave in a way which is uh, which is said to be proper and decent. करेक्ट, सो कोई भी तरीके से हम ऐसे ऐसे बिहेवियर नहीं करेंगे which you know which essentially means that that there should not be any sort of any sort of behavior which can uh, attract unwanted attention. Now, it also means that it essentially means that to cover or conceal one's body. Now, however, it is important to understand here that just a second, guys, just give me one moment. Uh, Sorry, guys. So, there is something which is very important here to understand is that modesty also depends on how much, what is the morality of the person or the morality what of that community. So, certain things it is also important here to understand that certain communities value morality or modesty in a different way than that of another community. So hence, it is how demure or how you know how a person is supposed to behave in certain community defines the modesty theory. Now, which essentially means that it arises also from the point of self consciousness. आप अपने बारे में कितने conscious हो. So one of the things that is very important is that whether I have a perfect body or not. So ओवर टाइम आजकल आप देखोगे सोशल मीडिया में बॉडी पॉजिटिविटी को लेकर बहुत बातें होती है, बट ओवर टाइम दिस हैज हैपेंड. For the longest time we have realized that concealing your body gives you the best opportunity to defend yourself from any negative body image. So it also uh, it gives you an idea that just to cover yourself from any, as I said, the first word that I said is that any unwanted attention. uh, but however, a lot of people say that modesty it's not very instinctive, it is something which is learned. So culture or civilizations move in a way which essentially means that uh, it is very instinctive. Uh, so again, because it is something which is learned, it depends on what religion you are following, what is the culture of that area, what is the age group that you belong to. So something which is uh, you know um, considered modest for a young girl might not be very modest for an older woman. The place where you so pa- places like urban areas or metro cities, something which is considered modest might not be very modest in a rural area. uh, आपका social status also becomes a very important part, and of course because morality is one of the very important factors, so also their personal preferences. uh, The second part that comes in is the immodesty theory. Now, immodesty theory essentially roots into the fact that uh, people would wear clothing to, you know, to ignite an interest in the opposite sex. So you dress up, you adorn yourself, you you know dress up in a way so that you look attractive. So immodesty theory essentially is uh, developed from the part that if you have seen birds or animals, they would often, like birds specifically, peacocks they can get, that when they try to attract their mates, they एकदम पूरा अपना पूरा पंख फैला के they show them off. Hence, the immodesty theory essentially talks about how much you want to show, how do you want to attract your opposite partner. Now, this can be situational कि आप जहाँ पे हो वहाँ का societal norms क्या है, individual preferences क्या है, religious faith also हो सकता है, psychological factors भी हो सकते हैं सर, that whether I would like to please myself or do I like to please others. It can also be a physiological factor. For example, somebody who have a difference in anatomical proportions, body जो उनके हिसाब से is not doesn't have the perfect body would possibly not like to be a part of this immodesty theory. And of course there can be certain physical or psychological comfort factors कि मुझे इतना ही भाई स्किन शो करना है, उससे ज़्यादा नहीं करना है, correct. The third theory that we are talking about is the adornment theory. Adornment theory is just not clothing, but much, much, much more than that. So anything you do, आप अपने सजने संवरने के लिए जो कुछ करते हो, everything comprises of your adornment theory. तो क्लोथिंग तो ऑफ कोर्स इसका पार्ट है, आपका मेकअप, आपका हेयर स्टाइल, आपके ज्वेलरीज, आपके बैग्स, कोई भी एक्सेसरीज जो आप यूज़ करते हो, for that matter, tattoos, everything comes from the adornment theory. So, adornment theory essentially comes from the holistic approach of fashion that the person aesthetically wants to look beautiful. It it is essentially meant to enhance beauty and makes all elements and principles of design so that aesthetic appearance improve. It can be inspiration from nature. Uh, it involves colors, textures, uh, बहुत सारे चीज़ें हम यूज़ कर सकते हैं इसमें. Uh, जब हम एडॉर्नमेंट थ्योरी की बात करते हैं, दो तीन चीज़ें इम्पोर्टेंट है यहाँ पे समझना. अपार्ट फ्रॉम क्लोथिंग there is this concept of body modifications also. So if you have seen if you have heard of it, that China में for the longest time there was this concept of foot binding. So the moment a girl is born, her foot is bound and put into a very small shoe. So the idea is कि पैर को बांध के पैर का साइज छोटा रखना. और फॉर एग्जांपल सूडान में इफ यू हैव सीन दैट वुमेन ऑफन यूज लिप प्लेट्स, तो लिप में एक छोटा सा कट डाल के यहाँ पे एक प्लेट डाल दिया जाता है. एंड धीरे धीरे द बिगर द प्लेट दे कैन पुट इन, the more beautiful they are supposed to be. There is also tattooing which comes in here. Uh, Tattoo के बारे में I hope everybody knows. And then there is body paintings. Again, a lot of tribes in Africa, for that matter in India also, if you have seen them, they often use body painting just to make themselves look beautiful. Uh, Finally, the protection theory. The protection theory is possibly the one which is very closely related to the origin of clothing, which essentially means that uh, clothing was originated to protect yourself from any which ways. Any which ways means whether it is weather, whether it is the environment. So to protect yourself from the insects, to camouflage yourself in a way so that you know you can hide from predators. Wars के लिए camouflaging होता है. You must have seen that all most army uniforms are in a way that it can camouflage in the vegetation, among the vegetation. Forest roads में वो almost छुप जाते हैं. So the that is the final way of theory which is essentially talks about that कि हम अपने आप को protect कैसे करें. Hence clothing originate हुआ. Coming to this part, this is something which is more importantly a psychological development. This was developed by you know a person called Abraham Maslow, and it was called a theory of human motivation. कोई भी इंसान क्यों कुछ भी क्यों करता है. It is a theory of that, and it is called the Maslow's hierarchy of human needs. इसको अगर आप देखेंगे इट लुक्स लाइक अ पिरामिड, और आप नीचे से इसको पढ़ना स्टार्ट कीजिए तो समझ में आएगा. एकदम नीचे देर इज फिजियोलॉजिकल नीड्स. फिजियोलॉजिकल मतलब फिजिकल नीड्स. फिजिकल नीड्स इज एज सिंपल एज समथिंग हम जैसे बोलते हैं रोटी कपड़ा मकान. तो जो हमें फिजिकली जिंदा रहने के लिए चाहिए, those things are called physiological needs. We will talk this in terms of clothing in a bit. अब पहले इस इस पिरामिड को समझ लीजिए। नेक्स्ट में आता है सेफ्टी नीड्स। सेफ्टी नीड्स इज समथिंग विच एसेंशियली talk about that how our our entire uh, motivation of taking anything or doing anything depends that whether we are safe or not, and how can we be safe. So we stay inside, we would stay indoors because it will be more safe for us. Next is social needs. Once you are content physically and you feel safe, you would like to have some friends, you would like to have a community, you would like to have a group. आपके दोस्त होने चाहिए, आप कोई चाहिए होगा जिससे आप बात करना चाहोगे, तो उसको हम बोलते हैं सोशल नीड्स। सोशल नीड्स के आगे आता है एस्टीम नीड्स। एस्टीम नीड्स इज बेसिकली अ सेंस ऑफ डिग्निटी और अचीवमेंट wherein we are talking about whether I have a, so it can also be a self esteem, two types हो सकते हैं। It can be a self esteem wherein we are talking about self or sense of self dignity, और अगर मैं खुद से अचीव कुछ करी हूँ, एक डिजायर हो सकता है कि मुझे कुछ अच्छे से करना है। और इट कैन ऑल्सो बी अ डिजायर टू अर्न रिस्पेक्ट, सो हाउ द अदर पर्सन इज परसीविंग मी, हाउ द तो अगर मेरे वर्क प्लेस में मेरे लोग मुझे मेरी इज्जत कर रहे हैं, नहीं कर रहे। एंड फाइनली इज द सेल्फ एक्चुअलाइजेशन मीन्स। सेल्फ एक्चुअलाइजेशन मीन्स essentially talks about something which makes me fulfilled. So this can be this can be anything, which can be the way we consume things. It can be a way of spirituality. It can be some way wherein we say कि हमें एक सेल्फ फुलफिलमेंट मिला है। ठीक है, तो ये क्लोथिंग के साथ कैसे रिलेटेड है। पहला नीड हम क्या बोल रहे थे, फिजियोलॉजिकल नीड बोलते रहते हैं। फिजियोलॉजिकल नीड को अगर हम देखें, तो अगर हम सीधा सीधा हमारा क्लोथिंग के थियरीज को देखें, तो वन ऑफ द थियरी इज एसेंशियली द प्रोटेक्शन थियरी। सो प्रोटेक्शन थियरी एंड क्लोथिंग का वन ऑफ द वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट इज प्रोटेक्शन एंड कंफर्ट। सो वी कैन इट कैन बी फ्रॉम वेदर हैजर्ड्स, एक्सट्रीम वेदर हो सकता है, वार्म क्लोथिंग हो सकता है, लेयर्स हम डालते हैं। We also use protective clothing like raincoats and umbrellas. There can be environmental dangers also. Environmental dangers, I think we wear shoes to save our feet. We wear certain sort of clothing which can help us from insect bites. So you must have seen those beekeepers generally often wear those hazmat suits जो पूरा पूरा covered होता है। There are also surgical gloves, surgical masks, which are important when you are performing certain and work. There can also be occupational hazard. So environmental danger is something which is nature based danger. Occupational hazards are something which are much more man made. So products, machinery, systems से कुछ गड़बड़ हो रहा है. So for example, somebody working in mines might be working in a place which is highly flammable, working with things which is highly flammable. So they might need something which is flame resistant, something which can help me from stains, some sort of contamination. You must have seen COVID के time पे people were doctors and healthcare people were using clothes which help them from occupational hazards. And finally, protection for enemies. Again, initially if you have seen पुराने मूवीज, अगर आपने देखे होंगे राजा महाराजा वाले, वहाँ पे सोल्जर्स वुड वेयर आर्मर्स जो कि लेदर्स के बने होते थे, एनिमल हाइड्स के बने होते थे। एज द आर्मर्स as the weapons changed, metal weapons and sharper weapons came in, so people started using metal armors. Abhi, that is also not there. We are talking about bullet proof clothing. तो जैकेट्स जो कि बुलेट प्रूफ हो, जो गन शॉट से बचा है। वी अगेन कैमोफ्लेज क्लोथिंग्स बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है ये सारी चीज़ें। The second one, which is from the again uh, point of Maslow's theory, is the function of identity. So identity is, it's just not what you are wearing, but किस intention से आप उसको पहन रहे हो। What do I mean by that? It essentially means that certain civilizations have developed ड्रेस कोड्स, तो ड्रेस कोड्स दैट डिफाइन कि डिफरेंट सोशो इकोनॉमिक स्ट्रेटा कैसे कैसे उसको दिखाया जाए। तो अगर कोई स्पेसिफिक प्रोफेशन है उसको कैसे दिखाया जाए। नाउ every society has a different cultural tradition, correct? And if you for example, when you as like more and more it is becoming common for us to wear western clothing, right? Or clothing which are comfortable like normal kurtis and other things. But then the moment you would wear a sari or wear a lehenga, you feel a sense of pride, you feel a sense of psychological feeling कि this is something which connects me to my heritage. uh, there are certain norms of how a bride or groom should dress up. There are also how फ्यूनरल्स में आपको क्या पहनना चाहिए, आपको किसी कॉन्वोकेशन में कैसा पहनना चाहिए। सो यूनिफॉर्म ऑल्सो बिकम्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट हियर, दैट क्या आइडेंटिटी दे रहा है वो आपके पर्पस को। अगेन इफ यू लुक एट यू नो हेल्थ केयर एम्प्लॉयज, सो हॉस्पिटल्स में या labs में you will see people wearing lab coats or medical scrubs which essentially give them a sense of identity. You find a person in a very in a common place, and in a crowded place, and you see a policeman, you identify a policeman by his uniform. Next comes the status and the prestige. Status and prestige का मतलब क्या हो गया कि if you look at older times, again you will realize that uh, kings and queens often would dress up much more elaborately and extravagantly. Now, that essentially meant that it gives you a certain status, it gives you a certain level in the society, so that यू आर डिफरेंट फ्रॉम अदर्स। अगर आप पुराने रोम के बारे में सुन रहे होंगे, पर्पल वॉज अ कलर जो कि सबके लिए अलाउड नहीं था। इट वॉज एक्सपेंसिव कलर, उसको बनाने में भी महंगा पड़ता था, बट ओनली द सेनेटर्स कुड वेयर इट, नो बडी एल्स वॉज अलाउड। चाइना में ओनली द एम्परर्स कुड वेयर येलो रोब्स। सो इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। अभी भी अगर आप देखोगे, यू नो इन सर्टन ट्राइब्स, only certain people are allowed this length of feather or this height of a you know uh, of a scrub or something which essentially gives them a difference of status. Now अगर आप मतलब if you look at it, it essentially gives you a difference between rich and poor. अभी भी अगर आप देखेंगे तो the rich would use designer fashion labels, logos or expensive jewelries, and it essentially gives you a sense of higher value. Coming to the ornamental and the aesthetic function. Now, ornamental and aesthetic function is essentially very related to our adornment theory. And so, in general, human beings have an inclination towards something which is aesthetic, which is beautiful, and it creates a difference between anything which you consider beautiful and which you consider not beautiful, consider ugly for that matter. So, तीन चीज़ें बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है यहाँ पे। फर्स्ट इज़ द डिज़ाइन, कि क्या डिज़ाइन हम बना रहे हैं। फिर दूसरा चीज़ क्या इम्पोर्टेंट है इस कि कैसा सरफेस ऑर्नामेंटेशन है। सरफेस ऑर्नामेंटेशन मतलब कि आप उसके फैब्रिक पे क्या चीज़ें ऐड कर रहे हो, वेदर वहाँ पे प्रिंटिंग है, कोई कुछ एम्ब्रॉयडरी है, कोई कुछ डाइंग टेक्निक यूज़ कर रहे हो, कुछ कुछ भी यूज़ कर रहे हो विच इंक्रीजेस द एस्थेटिक अपील। एक्सेसरीज जो कि कोऑर्डिनेटेड एक्सेसरीज है जो कि एस्थेटिक और यू नो उसको एनहांस कर रहा हो। फॉर एग्जांपल वेदर इट इज सर्टेन ज्वेलरी, रिस्ट वॉचेस, इट कैन बी शूज, बैग्स, कुछ भी। एंड मोर यू may see uh, important people are wearing these specific brands. Next is the sociability and the conformity. Now, when we talk about it, it can be of different. First is the indigenous clothing. Again, it gives you a sense of बिलोंगिंग. तो आपकी कम्युनिटी आपको आप जो पहन रहे हैं आप उस हिसाब से करो. सो इफ यू लुक एट ट्राइब्स दे वेयर अगेन similar kind of clothing. Conformity dressing is the way of showing loyalty to the community. So कोई एक्सप्लिसिट ड्रेस कोड्स नहीं है, बट हम पहनते हैं कहीं कहीं पे कुछ कुछ चीज़ें. फॉर एग्जाम्पल इफ यू गो टू अ इंडियन वेडिंग यू विल ऑफन सी women wearing sarees. किसी ने जोर जबरदस्ती कहा नहीं है कि आपको साड़ी पहनना ही पहनना है, but that is what it is it is the usual thing to do, or the the normal thing to do. Next is uniforms. Uniforms is something which is a dress code. This is a proper dress code, and the moment somebody wears a uniform, they get a feeling of belongingness. So often, we see all these expressions wherein they say about how uniforms is apna vardi and all those things, and hence uniforms becomes a way of connecting or way of becoming the brotherhood. And finally, there can be special occasions like convocation के gowns हो गए, caps हो गए, wedding attires हो गए. Finally is the self expression and the actualization part. इसके बहुत सारी चीज़ें हो सकती है. ये self expression comes from the idea of actualization, and wherein we are essentially talking about how we feel. So, the first thing that happens is the acceptance of self, others, and nature. मैं अपने आप के बारे में कैसा फील कर रही हूँ और क्या मुझे कंफर्ट दे रहा है. रिलायंस ऑन ओन एक्सपीरियंसेस एंड जजमेंट. सो वी आर नॉट थिंकिंग अबाउट कि लोग क्या सोचेंगे, लोग क्या कहेंगे. मुझे जो सही लगता है आई एम डूइंग दैट, स्पॉन्टेनियस एंड नेचुरल. सो अगेन anything which I look at it and I find beautiful. Task centered, something which is functional to me. कि अगर मुझे कुछ ऐसा स्पेसिफिक काम करना है जिसके लिए मुझे पॉकेट्स चाहिए, तो आई विल वेयर अ गारमेंट विथ पॉकेट्स. आई विल नॉट वेयर समथिंग a flowy dress or a gown which doesn't have pockets. Autonomy essentially means कि I have the freedom to choose what I want to. You cannot tell me कि आपको ये पहनना ही पहनना है. Second is continual renewal of appreciation. So the more you wear it, you feel good, and when people compliment you, you also feel better कि हाँ मैंने तो चूज किया, मैंने सही चूज किया. And finally the profound interpersonal relationships कि आप whether आप you know जो आप पहन रहे हो उसके साथ आपका रिलेशनशिप क्या है, आप कंपैशनेट हो कि नहीं, राइट. So this is how the clothing के theories is developed. I hope यहाँ तक clear है. Is this clear till now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's take us a small break of 5 minutes. We'll start with the history of clothing after this. Okay, and henceforth अभी जो you know जो ट्रेडिशनल कॉस्ट्यूम्स एंड हिस्ट्री जो जिसके बारे में हम बात करने वाले हैं इसके बाद, वी विल टॉक मोर थ्रू पिक्चर्स than content. So let's take a 5 minutes break and I will join back. See you in the meeting itself. Okay, let's start now. So, if you look at the Indian costumes and Indian history of clothing, then and then if we go back to again, as we were seeing about the origins of clothing, इंडिया के भी अगर देखें तो we can just go back to the cave paintings. So so this are few of the Bhimbetka cave paintings is very near to Bhopal. If you look at it, we see general drawings about general activities like combat or hunting. And in most cases, people are wearing this loincloths and has a basic uh, idea of the very original form of clothing. As we move forward, we find these sculptures and again certain excavations from our Harappa and Mohenjo-daro cave civilizations. And if you look at it, we so if you see this, this is the priest king of Mohenjo-daro. Is a very important, and I hope all of you have seen this. This is called the dancing girl, and this is basically a seal with unicorn, which so it's a unicorn and human figurines. Now, if you look at it, this essentially where somebody is wearing a very intricate shawl, and and the way it is being draped, एक आर्म के नीचे से दूसरे लेफ्ट शोल्डर के ऊपर से it is being worn, and it has certain very intricate surface ornamentation uh, designs on it, looks very much like those of a those three lobe leaves. And he also wears a headband which is tied at the back. If you look at the uh, dancing girl, here you will see that there are ornaments on again forehead base. She also has something tied. She has certain ornaments on her arms, and so if you again look here, there are of course again headbands here as well. As we move forward, you will often see that the Vedic period, which we often call the time of the Ramayana and the Mahabharata, which is about anything between 1200 BC to as close as 300 BC. Uh, there was a very distinctive caste system wherein there were these Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and the Shudras. The basic idea of the clothing at that this point was the parts wherein it is divided into multiple formats. So uh, there were these unstitched garments which were there, which was in general draped around the body. There was something which was the lower garment, which was called Antarya. And there are upper garments which was called the Uttarya. Now, Antarya and Uttarya, essentially Antarya was wore in different ways. So somebody would wear it like a wrapped around thing. Somebody else would wear it like a dhoti. So from region to region, the way it was draped uh, changed. The draping of the Uttarya also changed from time to time and region to region. Stitched costumes were something which were garments which were a part of which was draped, or baki was, let's say, was stitched like a tunic, like something which very looked similar to a modern kurta. Uh, the textiles evolved a lot during our post-Vedic period, from special textiles of Banaras, so silk and wool, certain fine cottons of Bengal. Uh, we also see the usage of hemp in the Kumaon region of the Uttarakhand, the current Uttarakhand now. A lot of accessories was used at this point. Now, these accessories was comprised of leather shoes dyed in different colors. Jewelries were also used in materials as gold, silver, and second, sorry. In materials like gold, silver, bronze, with things like ivory and mother of pearls being used. Different types of jewelries were used, which include the crowns, the headgears. Now, depending upon what is your status in the society, the jewelry changed. There were certain religious clothings which was also there, which included the clothing of the Brahmins or and the others. As we move forward, we can see this. It is the Maurya and the Sunga period. If you look at these garments, we can see a bunch of things wherein how the clothes are draped. There is a headgear here, so you can see the draping of the cloth. There is something where is the there is a this is a in the dhoti is being worn in a way that wherein the front has a extra piece of fabric going from it. There is a stitched garment on the top which looks very much similar to a kurta. The Gupta period, if we move forward again, had coin inscriptions and certain, statues which was there made. Now, it is very important at this point to understand that whenever we find these statues and whenever we see these statues, you will realize that over time the garments have developed in a way that the statues changed and the sculptures changed in the way to showcase their clothing and their designs. This is the Vijayanagar Empire from paintings from the southern part of the country, Karnataka region. You look at the hat, you can see how intricately weaved this hat is. This is the Vodikas of the Mysore kingdom. You can look at the the type of clothing that are there. A lot of this is there in your material also. I would suggest you to have a look and read those materials very go through those materials. You can see here she was used to be the Empress of France, and if you look at it, she's wearing a Kashmiri shawl, which is with paisley motifs, as a which is stitched into her garment. It's a miniature painting of from the Mughal miniature painting where Akbar is wearing a kurta or something uh, called a jama at that point, and it is made out of the fine muslin clothing. This is roll printed textiles. This was printed in England during the early times, but then this is how the you can see the motifs are very Indian, but was printed in uh, London. Uh, Now, here are few very important influences that happened in the Indian clothing over time. So, if you know that the older way of wearing sari was often worn without a blouse at times with a choli, but the usage of blouse was started by this Indian Bengali woman called Ganada Nandini Devi, and she started wearing these jacket sort of blouses with saris, and that became a norm. And the way the saris were worn, you can see these are the Parsi women, and the way they would wear the sari and the blouses had a very strong influence from the European fashion. From the royal families, again, very very intricate sarees, kurta pajamas became very popular. This Mandira Maharani Indira Devi of Kuch Bihar, and again we have often seen, and later years we have seen royal family women like Gayatri Devi. Maharani Gayatri Devi and all. So wherein they were wearing this silks and chiffons with pearl jewelry, which has created a look on their own. Again, continuing with the mm, royal families, you can see the usage of fur here. You can see the, the intricate jewelries. This is Maharaja Yadavendra Singh of Patiala, and he's wearing this Patiala jewels. It was made by Cartier, and it is now worn by Cartier. A copy of this was recently, not the real one, but a copy of this was worn by Diljit Dosanjh recently in Met Gala. The common Indian populace, the clothing that became a norm at this point was the the importance of khadi. So Gandhiji made it a point that we'll not import clothing from England, and we will be self reliant, and we will create this khadi. And wearing khadi with Gandhi and going on this Dandi march became a thing, and very important thing for the Indian populace. Khadi has since then become very, very important, and this is one of the looks was which was shown in one of the Latin Fashion Weeks in 2017. Again, just give me 5 minutes and we'll start with Indian cinema. It's too much talking and it's giving a little strain on my voice. Just give me 5 minutes. Okay, let's start again. So, now the Indian cinema and fashion has become very important part. Uh, if you look at the Indian cinema, there had been often times where the cinema was has influenced the fashion of that time, or the fashion of that time has influenced fashion cinema in the so the other way round, है ना? So अगर हम often देखें, a lot of influences of Western fashion has happened in Indian cinema. However, a lot of Indian fashion things have also influenced the Western world. तो हम एक एक करके देखेंगे. Starting with the 19, so we are starting from 1950s. There was of course Indian cinema before that also, but then 1950 से बहुत ड्रास्टिक चेंजेस होने स्टार्ट किए, इसलिए हम कुछ कुछ एग्जांपल्स देखेंगे. दिस ऑफ कोर्स इज नॉट द यू नो द एंटायर होलिस्टिक पार्ट ऑफ इट. बहुत सारी चीज़ें हुई है इसके बीच में आगे पीछे, बट देन इफ वी स्टार्ट बाय 1950s, specifically the menswear. So Shami Kapoor was one of the very important actors, and we have seen him wearing these sporty jackets, uh, and tapered leg trousers. And there was something called a teddy boy subculture in 1950s in London, which generally which had this look, which had एक narrow waist और silhouette, पतला सा सिलवट रहेगा, जैकेट रहेगा जिसका बटन्स, फ्रंट के बटन्स कुछ खुले रहेंगे. विमेन्स फैशन में अगर हम देखें, तो अगेन heroines such as Vajantimala, Wahida Rahman, they were wearing saris, blouses, kurtas, which are very similar, had very similar, slim down torso and lower silhouette, broader lower silhouette. Hairstyles were also very important here. The men were using very, flamboyant yet masculine hairstyles. Uh, this hairstyle was almost like a mix of how Teddy Boy's subculture was and the singer Elvis Presley, how he would dress up. There was also heroines जिनके hairstyles became very popular like Nargis, Meenakumari and Madhubala. If you look in the right, this is in the right के जो दो images अगर आप देख रहे हो, this is something which is which continued till 1960s. And Elizabeth Taylor, Marilyn Monroe, these were the people who essentially were the icons of the Hollywood fashion. The Indian counterpart अगर हम देखेंगे तो साधना, आशा पारेख and Chandala Tagore became, the screen presences, and the hourglass silhouette, the body looking like an hourglass, which ensure that the waist is clinched and the bust and the hip are fuller, uh, essentially gave the look. So the salwar suits were made in that way. The choli blouse became popular at this point. The hairstyle, the buffon hairstyle also became very popular. So if you look at this, so this is Elvis Presley and Priscilla Presley, their wife, his wife, and the buffon hairstyle of that time. And in the right, we have Simi Garewal and Shami Kapoor again. Simi Garewal with the this buffon hairstyle. Sadhana became very famous sporting this fringe hairstyle. So एक बुफा होता था, सामने थोड़ा सा fringe होता था. This became so much so that their individual personal characteristics became one with the screen persona. Coming to something which is very important was this, existing. There was to be this existing indigenous jacket for men. So this was called the Bandgala jacket, and it soon started being called as the Nehru jacket because he would wear it. It generally came with a band collar and had two versions, one which was sleeveless, another which was full sleeve. And because it had a band collar, it was often named as the Bandgala jacket. and this is the two versions of it: the Nehru jacket and the the sherwani part, which was full sleeve. And here we can see Beatles in wearing this bandkala jacket, and this is one of the movie from Dr. Number in again wearing the bandkala jacket. And it is something which is basically a descendant of the North Indian Achkan jacket, which is very popularly used, and it's something which was used by Nawabs and Nizams for the longest time. But the length was changed and it was westernized, and a lot of Hollywood people and musicians started wearing it. The 1970s came with the idea of usage a lot of synthetic fabrics. So in India and outside both synthetic fabrics. First, it was cheaper. Second, it was easier to maintain. The Beatles also visited Rishikesh at this point, and it became a place of foreign tourists and celebrities, and a place of spiritual. India became a place of spiritual taste. So the entire hippie movement or the hippie flower child movement, you will often see that the Woodstock Festival for Peace, ये सारी चीज़ों में इंडिया का लुक बहुत बहुत आया, वेर इन इंडिया का टाई एंड डाई, द फ्लोरल प्रिंट्स, द बेल बॉटम जीन्स, kaftans, everything which had a lot of Indianness as along with the Western silhouettes. Something which is very important here is that at this point, uh, men and women started to wear similar clothes. What do I mean by that? Women also started wearing jeans. Bell bottom pants became popular for both men and women. Uh, in the 19 during the World War, there was something which was a safari suit, and at this point, safari suit became so popular. You can see here in left, Hema Malini wearing a safari suit, and in the right there is an menswear Vimal, only Vimal suitings का एक advertisement wherein the actor wearing a safari suit in the center. Uh, So by the 1980s, MTV came to India, and it became so powerful that people had very, you know, important as an identities or visual identities how celebrities would look. There are two things that became very important. The first one is because there were more and more women working in the as executive positions. So the concept of power dressing, how to dress up, and so those broad shoulder jackets and suits became very important. At the same time, they also started wearing something which was, which was this entire MTV culture or the disco culture, wherein wearing, jackets, layered jackets, fluorescent colors, very glittery colors, very glamorous. And if you see movies like Cars and Kurbani, you'll see, very, very vibrant and very over the top designs. As it moves forward toward the 1990s, there's something which was called as the grunge fashion, wherein we are talking about layers or usage of jeans became very popular. At the same time, the IT crowd became very popular, so people were starting to use, men starting to wear a lot of suits and ties and jackets. A few things post 1990s have become caught on to the culture and iconic fashion trends. One of this was the salwar kurta, like a short kurta with a salwar of Bunty and Pugly. Here we can see the t-shirt with patiala look of Jab We Met. This was one of the costume of Bajirao Mastani, and soon after that there is this Anju Modi collection. You can see how inspired it is it with the Bajirao Mastani look. Uh, this is the again costume of Padmavat, and if you look at it, this is an Rimple and Harpreet Narula collection of 2016. Again, very very inspired. This few of the sarees became very, important of from Devdas and Hum Aapke Hai Kaun. Uh, there are few designers which are important when we talk about Indian fashion, the evolve, how Indian fashion has evolved. Uh, the first one being Ritu Kumar. Ritu Kumar is one of the oldest designers of Indian fashion. Rohit Bal passed away a year or two back, I think. But again, very important designer. Anita Dongre, I am pretty sure you have heard of this brand called And. And so Anita Dongre is one of the she's the founder of that brand. And if you have seen her collection, she often uses very traditional techniques. Manish Malhotra, I hope everybody have heard of Manish Malhotra. Manish Malhotra is one of the most prominent Bollywood designers, whereas makes very initially he started designing with Yash Chopra Productions, and a lot of pastel shades he would use. Tarun Tahlani uses a lot of sparkling, colorful designs. Nita Lulla again, very colorful work. Sabyasachi is very, very famous for using Indian traditional work. For example, Sardosi and Banarasi. So things which are considered royal. Sabyasachi's collection essentially talks about classy and royal collections. The last one is Manish Arora. Manish Arora is often said to be whimsical and quirky, and his collections are ranges from again something which is very over the top, very flamboyant, and very colorful. So yeah, so this I think ends the presentation for today. Is there any queries? No queries. Looks like everybody's left. Okay, so in that case, we will end the session here today. We will start with. I kept some time for that us to discuss if you had any queries, but then doesn't look like you have any queries. So we will start again tomorrow, and I'll tell you what to do by the end of the session. It's okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello?